really everything I do is guided by the principle that I have very, very little patience and I get very bored. I like to, and we've talked about this, very, appropriate for the podcast as well. I like to create things. I like to, and I can't write music and I'm a terrible artist. So that kind of just leaves bars, I guess. So, I was a decent high school student growing up in Miami, moved to North Carolina for a few years, followed my dad's job, came back to Miami, graduated from Sunset High School, and went to FIU, at the time, probably 40 to 50,000 of my closest friends, and commuted, worked in computers, loved computers. I did terrible in college. Did good my first semester, then did really, really bad. And I saw a girl in a blue uniform, and I'm like, what is that? She's like, hey, it's the Air Force. Fast forward, graduate college, finally get my shit together. Graduate college, go into the Air Force as an intelligence guy. Did a bunch of fun stuff in the Air Force as an intelligence guy, mostly working with F-16s, and did some weapons development. Spent a little time doing intelligence work for the Army in Iraq. Then came back and got a federal government job, which by all accounts on paper and according to my parents was a perfect job, right? Paid way too much like most government jobs, and had your ability to succeed with very little effort, like most government jobs, was definitely prominent. So, but I was not creating anything. There was no beginning or end to anything. It was all just one continuous email chain, basically. And I fucking loathed it. I hated it. So I just stopped. I quit when I was 36. I found a handful of partners. Now there's one left, and that's Tom Maxwell, who's actually a few feet from me right now. But we opened Lincoln's Beard. We had no idea what we were doing. None of us had bar experience whatsoever. Todd had a little bit of F&B experience and a lot of CFO experience in the hospitality world, which certainly helped. But it worked. Frankly, it blew up right off the beginning because we teamed up. Sounds like a shameless plug, but teamed up with David here and Philip, who run Beyond the Agency, fantastic agency. Obviously, they've grown fantastically since then. But we were both kind of brand new in the industries, and we did some really, really amazing things. Well, you did some really, really amazing things on our behalf, and it was really, really just launched. It was crazy. We couldn't handle it. That kept going for a few years, and eventually had some partner issues. Todd and I left there, went to start Strange Beast, got into food games. So brew pub out there, pizzeria, started making some Neapolitan style pizzas. Really big success, very tiny concept. Awesome concept. David did the initial branding for that as well, or you, I should say, did the initial branding for that as well. Also, folks from Freaks Design, who you may or may not have talked about or to on this podcast. You should if you haven't.
Definitely going to bring them on soon.
Yeah, they're just a couple ladies that are just incredibly, kind of stupidly talented. So then we said, screw it, let's do it again. Well, we went back and bought out Lincoln's Beard, key point. Then we said, screw it, let's do it again. And we started building out the spot we're sitting in now. COVID and multiple other things slowed that down. But today is actually the opening day. So really, really nailed this podcast time inadvertently. So that kind of sits where we are now. And it's really nice. I wake up every day and there's fires. And sometimes I wake up at 3 a.m. to go try to unfuck cold rooms and whatnot. But everyone's got a common goal. We're creating things. We're making people happy. And outside of the common goal thing, I really never had that in the government. The closest thing as far as mentality and camaraderie goes is the time I spent in Korea and, frankly, the time I spent in Iraq, which just had a clear mission, a clear goal. And that's kind of where we're at now. We're sitting in Maxwell Bros, which is our latest concept and probably our second to last concept, which is based on Todd's family and about 150 years of what they did in Ohio. And that's kind of the rundown of me and my professional life.